Hi Disney Dreamlighters, welcome back or welcome on in if you are new here. I am really excited because today will be my first ever Disney Dreamlight speed build and I cannot wait. So let's just get straight into it. As you may already know, the premium shop has done a little bit of a reset and we got the French bakery house as well as the Provincial library house, so I will be building those two today. Firstly, I already laid out the houses in Peaceful Meadow, just on the right hand side where Glade of Trust entrance is. I thought this section particularly worked really well with the two buildings, so I'm just going to go with that right now. And before I start on the actual landscaping and the decorating, I usually like to start off with the trees just to work as a little framework so it's easier for me to decorate and work out the look and feel of the build. My focus today is Cottagecore, and the reason why I chosen this is because 1, in Australia we just reached autumn, and 2, it was Easter, and 3, I just feel like the bakery as well as the library really screamed cottage vibes to me more so than city core or like a town sort of village vibe. When I traveled in France and visited Burgundy, that French bakery house right there screamed that sort of province and countryside look, so I had to do it. And I think that actually made me want to start Disney Dreamlight Valley again. A little funny story, I got Disney Dreamlight Valley when it first released back in 2022. I was obsessed with it, and then I went off to my travels and took a break from just gaming in general. When I came back, I actually took a little bit of a breather because I got so overwhelmed with the quest, but then I started getting FOMO. So the more updates I saw and just everything that you have right now in the game really itched me to go back in again. And I think this bakery and library house was my tipping point and I just had to get it. So here we are today. So this is actually my first ever speed build in general and decorating in Disney Dreamlight Valley, so I really hope you all enjoy it. But I just did the trees as I said, and then I did the pathing. I found the pathing a little bit tricky, but we got there in the end, and I am now going to be working on the French bakery portion, and I really wanted to focus on the cottagecore vibe, so I thought having a little veggie patch area just beside the bakery house was a perfect look and feel, especially very on theme. And I thought it'll be handy for players like yourselves or me to go around the actual biome and be able to do some gardening as well. So I want to make sure that every time I do these builds in future that it is practical and useful. And to really frame the garden so it looks a little less boring than what you do in game and dig it up and plant a seed straight away, I used the leaf strewn path with border and really framed it, and it kind of makes the garden patch look a lot more neat and tidy. I also wanted to put it on the opposite side just to kind of give it a little bit more structure and frame, like I've mentioned, just to make sure that the area doesn't look so out of place and we're just throwing things on wherever we can and where we think it fits. So I've just done something quite similar, exactly the same really, on the opposite side. So I jumped out quickly and did a bit of gardening, and I realized that the layout for that one initially didn't work next to the bakery house, so I kind of flipped it and changed the layout of it, and I preferred it much more. I also used a trellis and started framing it, as you can see already, and I really wanted to kind of like give a little bit more character to a plain empty garden bed, so I also added in the well as well as a wooden bucket. I've also grabbed those barrels from around the biomes, and I thought they really fit nicely in this space. I am still new to the game since I did take a huge break, so a lot of these items should be already in your inventories as part of furniture, and don't be afraid to grab some other items from different biomes or even plants and shrubs, anything like that. I've also learned that you can customize rugs and I was mind blown. This is a huge game changer. I really don't remember this happening at all when I first started playing, so I went ham and I just created 2 rugs and made it look like a sort of deck look and feel, just to kind of separate it, because I really want to make a seating area for the bakery, kind of like an outdoor alfresco cafe feel that you will generally see around in Europe. I've also built and created these tables and chairs and also customized them as well. I feel like the customization kit is such a huge game changer and I highly recommend it, especially when you're a little bit low in terms of inventory and items, just like myself. You can really push the boundaries on this one. Moving on, I felt that it looked a little bit bare around the perimeter of the actual space, so I just grabbed the white picket fence that you start with, I believe, especially for your own house, and these are really useful. I think they're so cute and definitely fit the cottagecore vibe. Once I'm pretty much happy with the feel of this space, I then go into landscaping and decorating. So I am just grabbing some hail bays. I just feel like they really fit the cottagecore vibe and autumn vibe, and I really made sure I kept up with the same theme for consistency. I noticed that the French bakery has pops of red, so I popped in some of those Japanese maple trees that you can see in the background and some of those dwarf birches that you can get from the different biomes and different colors, and I really think they work so well cohesively together. And instead of making everything look so green in terms of shrubbery, I think it's really nice that we have a little bit of color just to really introduce those autumn vibes. I think my number one advice when it comes to decorating, particularly in a game that you're new in, is do not be afraid to reuse and repeat. I think it is a smart way and a sustainable way for you to kind of get used to decorating, and it also keeps the consistency up. So I highly recommend doing that, especially when you're feeling really overwhelmed and a little bit lost when it comes to decorating. A huge portion of this decorating will be landscaping, so I'll be doing that throughout. And again, I am just ensuring that I'm keeping up with the rustic vibe and anything that I feel will work really well in this space, just to kind of give it a little bit more life and that it doesn't look so bare. Once I'm happy with the landscaping by the bakery and the Provincial library, I have moved on to the community garden, and I'm doing pretty much the exact same thing with the trellis. I've also added in some of those flower pots that you get from your starter home as well, and later on I add in some burlap bags just to add a little bit of realism. I highly recommend putting in storage here, so I've done those as well. I put some wooden chests as well as some custom signs, and I find them really cute, not in terms of decorating, but it's so handy when it comes to organizing in the game, because I do find that I get lost in the storage boxes and just shoving whatever I can, whatever I have, especially when my inventory gets filled up. Since it's a community garden, I really wanted to add in some sort of area where it can be quite communal, especially for the villagers. So I added in a picnic bench. But since Easter has recently just passed and it is April, I really wanted to kind of introduce that theme into this section. And I believe we just recently got the extravaganza event guide, so I really thought it would be a cute idea to include that in this decoration. So I just added in the spring stall, which I think is more like an Easter stall. And then I did a pop of color by adding in the barrel or bucket of those orangey flowers just to kind of reintroduce the autumn core vibes again. And I popped an egg basket right on top, but feel free to add more to this section if you want to, if you've got more items and you've built a lot more in terms of the event. I know they have some balloon arches and whatnot, so go crazy here, but I really thought it's a cute area, kind of like a market stand but for Easter, so I thought that was really, really cute. I also used the custom rugs and I did this woven print, and I am obsessed with this, and I think it'll look great if you don't have a picnic rug already yet. You can really get creative with this, so that's what I've done. Instead of using what I've done already in the bakery with the deck look and feel, I didn't want to repeat that again because I thought it'll be a little bit too much brown, so I wanted something that kind of lifts up and lightens up the space. I also have decided to put in some stepping stones or rocks that you can get for free. And the great thing about it is I love landscaping and decorating games like this. And it really does remind me of like Sims in terms of debug. It really reminds me of Paleo as well. So I highly recommend when you're new and starting to really go hard on the landscaping because it looks like it is pretty much cost effective. You don't have to source out items or resources in order to create something. So I think landscaping should be your best friend. I've realized that you don't want to clutter up too much in landscaping, so your character won't be able to actually walk through it, or the other villages for that matter. So definitely leave as much space as you can for them to explore and enjoy the space. I just finished up with a little bit more decorating, adding in some books in front of the Provincial Library, more stepping stones, and also some street lamps. I threw in the bike that I got from Wally, and I thought that was so cute. It definitely gave Cottagecore vibes, so that was actually really perfect. Last but not least, I have added in some flowers. So I think the best way to do this is to definitely put them in your inventory and then drop them. And the nice thing about it is that it just drops in the surrounding areas wherever it thinks it can fit. And generally it turns out really well. So you can go back in and tidy it up, which I have done. But overall, it's a really cute look and feel. It makes it look more natural. And yeah, I really like it. So that's pretty much the speed build. So we're going to do a little bit of a tour. I'm just coming down from the very far right side of the plaza, going into the pathing, and first up we see the library, the bike, and the Easter stall, which I think is so cute. And look at Merlin chilling there on our little bench. How cute. And Wally, oh my gosh, I didn't even see Wally there. So yes, it's very, very cute space, and the picnic bench, which I had to sit in and have a quick gander, and I think this is so cute. I just have to say the butterflies really add a nice touch to it, so thank you, Mirabelle. Moving along, we've got the community garden center, which you can water your plants and harvest, and I think this is such a cute space, and it just allows you to really be a little bit more creative in your gardening and more practical when it comes to certain sections. Here we have the Provincial Library House. I love the blues. I think it breaks up the color palette really nicely, and I love how the books that we already got initially, I believe this was by Merlin's home, worked out so well if you haven't done the quest yet from Belle. And this is the French bakery, which I love. I love how Wally was sitting on his own there. So freaking cute. But I had to take a seat for myself, and I'm loving the French cottage vibes. But I am just going to follow through the pathway that I have created to go to the little veggie patch area. We've got some sunflowers there for a little color. I love how the well ties in really nicely with the Provincial Library roofing as well. So that was actually a nice coincidence. And again, the storage boxes. These custom signs, honestly, are the best, and I am actually addicted to them. And I'm excited to reorganize everything again. But that is the tour for the French bakery as well as the Provincial Library houses. I hope you really enjoyed it. I've got a little bit of some snapshots and views. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed the build. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment to see what else you'd like to see next. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you on the next one.